Charlie, when we're talking about hunting a buck's core area, I think what we need to reiterate is, the home range normally what we're talking about is a square mile, 640 acres of that buck's home range. In the core area is what we found out and what we've published in the magazine is, normally as the older that buck gets, his core area shrinks. You're talking maybe 200 acres, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe a little bit more than that. But when you're hunting a core area, Charlie, what are some of the tactics that you use to try to keep that buck from becoming alert to your presence?
Well, one of the things I do, Dan, I know a lot of guys hunt those bedding areas. I try to stay away from them so I don't push that deer. Now, I try to hunt fairly close to it, but the key is I want to hunt what I call a transition zone. That's between that bedding area and his primary food source. I want to try to ambush him right there. The key thing is I don't want him to know I'm there, so I do a couple of things. Number one, if the wind's not right for me, I don't hunt it. That's the most critical thing. The second thing that I do is I want to set that ambush point up about 15 yards downwind of that trail that I think he's going to be using. I'm going to hang some mock licking branches about every 50 yards along that trail, so when he comes down through there, he's working the branches. When he gets right to that mock licking branch that I want to kill him over, he's going to stop, he's going to work the branch, I'm going to be able to shoot. Now, another critical point that I find...
Wait a second, you're talking about those mock licking branches, and we've talked about that a lot, but why don't you explain exactly how do you go about that?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to use a preferred browse species branch. I'm going to hang that branch about chest high to neck high level on a 6-foot man right over the trail, so that when that animal comes down along that trail, his tendency is to stop, work the mock licking branch, leave odor from his preorbital gland, his nasal gland, his forehead gland. He'll urinate right into that trail area, he'll paw it out, he'll move on. So that mock licking branch is the way that I operate. I mean, 2/3 of the whitetails that I've ever killed in my lifetime, I've killed over scrapes. Close to a bedding area, but so that I can intercept them going and coming from that food source. So that's critical.
When are you normally creating these licking branches? I know when you do it, but what is that time frame?
Well, first of all, Dan, I'm primarily hunting areas that I know, our farm, places like that that are relatively close to my home. So if I can hunt an area where I live, I'm going to hang those mock licking branches so they can be used year-round by that deer, because you'll find multiple bucks will work that same licking branch. And so I'm hunting an area that's comfortable for me. I understand the thermals, I understand the terrain, I'm able to do that. But one of the critical things that most hunters miss is how do you get to that stand and how do you get out? The entrance and exit are vital. I don't want an animal to see me in a food plot. I certainly don't want to spook him in his bedding area. And I take it to an extreme. I take a garden rake, a yard rake, and I rake all the debris off. So when I'm walking into that stand, it's kind of like walking with slippers on concrete. You're really quiet going in, going out. You've got the wind in your favor. You've got a spot that animal's going to stop. And the key is, where is he going to go from bedding area to feeding area? Enhance those trails with mock licking branches, and I can tell you over the years, it's been a real success for me. And that's how I do it.